Okay, so welcome back to the channel. I'm reviewing Marathon again. So, yesterday was Marathon Server Slam. Over the weekend was Marathon's Server Slam, which was free to play. And I thought, considering I've done quite a few videos on Marathon and I've criticised it a lot, I can't really give a full, proper judgment until I've played the game. It's only fair that I play the game, so then, I can criticise it properly, and people go, "Oh, you never," and people can't go, "Oh, you never played the game, so you can't say anything." Well, I've played the game now. I played it enough that I can make my mind up on it and criticise it. And this will probably be the second to last video I make on Marathon. I'll make one more video on Marathon when the game fully comes out on the 5th of March, and we'll see what the player count's like. But anyway, so I played Marathon Server Slam the other day for an hour. If you want to watch the full stream, I'll put a link in the description. But I played it for an hour, and I was like, I can't play any more of this. It was really boring. It was really terrible. And I'll show clips of it. I'll put, a 10-minute clip of the Marathon Server Slam in this video. But it wasn't that great. I thought, at least the game mode I played, I don't know if that's what the whole Marathon's going to be like, or if there's going to be multiple game modes. But from what I experienced, it's you and 2 other teammates, so 3 in total. You run around a map, which is a huge map, for about maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, doing nothing, just running around, not even looting. There's you come across some loot, you run around the map, and then eventually you'll fight 4 or 5 enemies. And then once you kill them, you're running around the map again until you either end up getting killed or you evac and complete the mission. And that was it. It was a bit boring. I mean, it just felt empty. There wasn't enough enemies in the game. And even when I put it on the medium difficulty, there wasn't any enemies. It just changed the difficulty. It wasn't that many enemies. And it still feels very bland and boring. There's not much really to do or say. I mean, there are some positives. The graphics look good, but most modern games do look good nowadays. I like the mechanics where the looting system, where if you die, you lose all your stuff, but then if you survive and go on to the next world, you get to keep all your loot. So if you was to survive 3 different worlds, then you keep building your loot up and up and up and up. And then also, once you finish the world, you can put some of the loot that you don't want to lose into a backpack and storage system. So then if you do die, you've got some stuff to start off with. So I did like that system. That's one thing I will say about Marathon that I did like. I think that is a good system. But is the graphics being good, the gameplay being good, and the gameplay being standard. Like, if you think about it, it's just a standard game. Like, the gameplay mechanics aren't too different from like Call of Duty, Warzone, Black Ops. So the gameplay isn't too different from Call of Duty, Warzone, Battlefield, Overwatch, and games like that in it, as in terms of the shooting, using the shield, melee system and all that stuff. But, other than mechanics being standard mechanics, the graphics being good, which most graphics are, and then the looting system, other than them 3 things, there's nothing else I can say that's good about Marathon. And do them 3 things justify $40 price tag? No, it doesn't. It doesn't justify me paying £40 for it when there are other games like Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty Warzone, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals. I'm blanking at the moment. I can't think of other games, right? Other games, Valorant and stuff. CS:GO, if everyone still plays it anymore, or even Rainbow Six Siege. Most of them games are free to play games, except for 1 or 2 I mentioned there. But I'd rather play them games, or I'd rather pay £40-50 for Battlefield 6 than Marathon, because it offers more. Marathon, it just feels empty and boring. It didn't. Yeah, there's not really much I can say in it. But the Server Slam was over the weekend. Now let's have a look at the player count, because this is going to be good, and this will give us an insight on how many players will play it when it officially comes out on launch. So this is on Steam. So in a 4-day period, it peaked at 143,000 players. Over a 24-hour peak, it had 64,000 players. Currently, it's got 24,000 players. So this was over the weekend when the Server Slam hit. Now, the Server Slam was free to play. That's the only reason why I played it. So let's just say, if you include Xbox, include PlayStation, because we don't really know the numbers of that, let's just say it was around maybe 150, 160,000 players on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. And then, 24-hour peak was only 64,000 players, so a lot of players dropped off there. And then right now we've got 24,000 players on Steam. We'll just say 25,000. So if roughly 100, we'll just go off Steam charts for now to make it easier, right? So if roughly 140,000 people played it on the weekend when the SummerSlam Server Slam was on, and at the moment you've only got 24,000 people playing it right now, that indicates to me that probably a lot of people who was neither not too sure about Marathon, was like, oh, I don't know whether to, who didn't buy the game, played it, was like, oh, I wonder, people who maybe was on, like, sitting on the fence whether to buy it or not buy it, probably played Marathon. And then, you had people who actually enjoy Marathon played it, and then you had people like me playing it just to review it. So I reckon when Marathon actually comes out, on its full release, on launch day, over the first 2-3 days on launch, I reckon you'll see maybe 100,000 players playing it. Maybe less. Because if you had, an all-time peak of 140,000 players, and there's only 24,000 players playing it now, there's probably a lot of people who didn't buy the game, who's just playing it for free, and they've probably gone, wow, this is boring. This is a bit shit, So I'm expecting when it comes out on launch to maybe see around 100,000 players. I'm expecting to see around between 100,000 to 80,000 players playing it, and then after that, maybe it will drop off less. Maybe it might even get 50,000 players on launch, because I don't think a lot of people, especially me, after playing it for an hour, which I did, I thought it was very boring, and I was like, there's not really much to do in this. And if a lot of people who was sitting on the fence whether to buy it or not had the same experience as me, they'll probably think, yeah, this game's not really worth $40, is it, of their hard-earned money. So, when it officially comes out on launch on the 5th of March, which is not too soon, which is quite soon, in Bungie's eyes and Sony's eyes, when the game comes out, if only has 100,000 players, and then within the first 2-3 days it drops down to like 50, 60,000 or 20,000, then it will 100% in Sony's eyes and Bungie's eyes, this is my opinion, I think they will consider it as a flop, and so will many people as well. And if you compare this game to ARC Raiders and Call of Duty Warzone, Battlefield 6, Tarkov and loads of other games, it probably will be, loads of people, I'd prefer playing them other games than this. So I do think it will be a flop. I mean, there's not a lot of people playing it right now, only 24,000 people. And out of these 24,000 people, how many of these people have bought the game? Who knows? Maybe only 10,000 people have only bought this game. Maybe only 4,193 people have bought this game. I don't know. I don't know how many pre-orders there are for Marathon on Steam, but out of these 24,000, how many of these people have actually bought the game, or how many of these people bought the game and actually going to play it, or how many of these people are just sitting on the fence like, I don't know whether to play it or not. So maybe these 24,000 people playing it right now are, actual people who are going to play the game and bought it, or maybe it's like 50-50, the majority, or maybe it's like 60-40, the majority of the people playing it right now have bought the game, and then the other people, like the other 30-40% of maybe sitting on the fence whether to play it or not, or maybe they're only playing it just because it's free, just to see what the game's like. But you probably won't have anyone playing it, maybe a small group, maybe 10,000 or 5,000, but I think loads of people who bought the game and then paid, like, just like the average gamer, not proper like hardcore Marathon fans. We're just talking about the average gamer or someone like me. Maybe a load of people who's going to buy the game and is like, I'm going to play the Server Slam first. Maybe a lot of people who played the Server Slam was good, realised, this game's a bit shit, it's a bit boring. I mean, it's okay, but it's boring. And then they won't buy the game. And then when the game comes out on launch, I reckon that's the case. I reckon when the game officially comes out on launch on the 5th of March, it'll be less players than the Server Slam, because the Server Slam had 150,000 players on Steam. I guarantee you when it comes out on launch, it will have less, because a lot of people probably played this and went, wow, this is boring and shit. There's not much. I mean, I've played it for an hour and 10 minutes, so... And what did I do in that time? I was running around an empty map half the... I mean, seriously, for I reckon about 40 minutes of this live stream, I was just running around an empty map, doing fuck all, and then maybe about 20 minutes of it, I was actually fighting anyone. Would I rather play... if we compare it to other games, and I know some of these games are slightly different to Marathon, but ARC Raiders, Call of Duty Warzone, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, Valorant, You know, would I rather play them games instead of this? Yes. I think I'd rather watch fucking paint dry than this. I think I'd rather take a shit, throw it on the wall, and watch it slowly roll down the wall until it falls on the floor, then play this game. I mean, seriously, you know, like I said, it's okay, right? The core mechanics, like the fighting, all that's okay. It's like the fighting mechanics are standard. It's okay, right? They're good. Visually, the game's good. I like the looting system. I like the system where if you live and survive, you get to take your weapons into the next game. If you die, you reboot that. But do them 4 things justify $40 price tag? No, they don't. It's not going well for Marathon. I will do another video on this when the game officially comes out. When the game officially comes out, I'll wait a day or two, then I'll make another video on it so we can see the all-time player count for when it officially comes out, and then how many players are playing it afterwards. But anyway, that's going to do for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay continued for the next one. Turn on the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter, Kick, X, Twitch, YouTube, all of that stuff, whatever. And let me know what your opinions on Marathon and if it's going to do well. See ya.